Good evening. I'm Enarida Flor and welcome to Churikua. Some weeks ago, my grandfather died while we were tidying up the house and keeping his clothing to give it as donation. I found a notebook, very old, and with yellow pages due to the old they were. I opened it, and there I found a kind of diary in which my grandpa narrated a story in great detail that I would try to summarize as well as I could. February 8, 1939. We had never had issues and lack of money until a couple of years. Since the Kisapu eruption, many of that suppliers got affected and a lot of his best merchandise stopped arriving here. That is even his best. But a couple of years ago, we are struggling with money. Since Chichan's earthquake, we were affected because almost all the merchandise with new suppliers that mom and dad sells are coming from there and from Concepcion. Pedro and I started to work after school to help at home. Mom had to ask for money from the banks and sell some of her jewelry, so we had food on the table. March 10, 1939. The other day, I heard Dad talking with Mom. It seems they didn't realize I was there, or at least I want to wonder that. I hear Dad saying, "Come on, darling. I remember my father told me about my great-grandfather who was struggling and in need. They sold one of his older sons to a ship called the Enchanted Ship. After this, he started receiving merchandise, and business improved considerably. Some years later, his son arrived to visit them. He barely spoke, remaining in silence and without telling anything about his stay in that ship. After that, he never came back again." With that story, what are you trying to say? That this situation is unbearable. The odds are reaching us. Maybe this would be our only chance to get out of debt. Awesome. We are merchandise. Now, to whom you would sell? To me or to one of our children? Or you would have the courage and sell yourself? After this, I got scared so much that I decided to cover my mouth and sneak away. Then I didn't hear anything else. Someone from my family would be sold to a ship. May 23rd, 1939. Money isn't enough. Merchandise doesn't arrive on, or the little one that arrives takes too much time to arrive. It is painful to see the store empty. Many people was in the same situation than us. Despite their efforts to find some suppliers, he had to go and look for them by himself to Punta Arenas and Santiago. Everything is so expensive. Dad would have to sell the store and look for another job. June 18th, 1939. Dad had left the store and is working in a factory in Castro. All the merchandise he finds and money he earns send them here in Kemchi. Mom is the one in charge of the store. On top of that, before Dad left, we were told that we would have a brother or sister. January 28, 1940. Dad came back because Grandpa was very ill and he died some days ago. He will go back after the funeral. For a certain reason, Grandpa was telling Dad, "You already know it, son. You know what the solution is. More than 100 years have passed since then." March 30th, 1940. Pedro had disappeared. Nothing is known about him. My parents are acting weirdly calm, but I'm afraid of facing them and that this carries me so serious consequences. May 30th, 1960. After Valdivia's earthquake, the country has been in chaos. The huge amount of disaster and how the store I have been running for just over 10 years continues to receive merchandise and continues to thrive. I had to go with my father because now he is close to death and ask him the truth about Pedro. To which he answered me, "Yes, it is. It is. Pedro accepted to be sold to the Caleuche, a ghost ship that is boarded by witches drowned at sea and some castaways who are dedicated to partying and smuggling. Every leap year they collect victims, and that is why they took your brother. Don't worry, he recently came to see us. He's fine, but as you know, he doesn't tell us anything about his stay on the ship. Thanks to him, we were able to get out of debt. Now, I ask you, my son, to keep and pass on the secret, because if someone finds himself or herself in this predicament in 100 years, this sacrifice will be the only one capable of rescuing us from ruin. Do not forget, it must be in leap year." I felt so bad reading this. I guess the one who wrote the message was my father, and now that I know it, I will be involved in it. Now, if Rina awaits me in a few years, will I be able to sacrifice someone in my family for prosperity? For prosperity and wealth for me in this business for 100 more years?